Zuma has told the SCA that claims that he abused processes to delay his criminal cases falls flat. He contends that there's no evidence to prove that he is employing Stalingrad tactics to evade prosecution. Mpofu has refuted claims that Zuma has delayed criminal cases he's facing for the past 20 years. Mpofu contends that the High Court rushed into making a ruling without looking into reasons.
There is the private prosecution, and then there is the public prosecution. That's the criminal prosecution of Mr. Zuma. Those are three different things. The so-called delay, that is harmful, is delay in the third leg, far removed, in the criminal prosecution. The so-called Stalingrad is not about these other cases. It's about that case, which is the criminal prosecution. So, how can the order granted by the full court cure that?
However, Advocate Billy Downer has argued the ulterior motive behind the private prosecution attempt against him is just to remove him as a prosecutor. He has told the SCA that Zuma's position is clear, that he will do anything possible to ensure that he does not prosecute him. Downer contends that Zuma does not have a right to prescribe who can or cannot prosecute him. He told the SCA that Zuma has an obsession of instigating litigations.
Firstly, he instituted this private prosecution. And secondly, he brought a second application for the removal of Mr. Downer. So far, those two stratagems have achieved a delay of about a year. Because of the stratagems, the trial won't start this year. Depending on what happens in this case and in the case in the High Court, it may not even start next year either. So the abuse is continuing to succeed, although one has the sense that the day of reckoning may finally be approaching.
Advocate Tembeka Ngcukaitobi for journalist Karyn Maughan has told the justices at the Supreme Court of Appeal that Jacob Zuma continues to manipulate the justice system. He adds that the tactical litigation played by Zuma in his criminal cases should not be entertained. Ngcukaitobi has asked the SCA to protect the administration of justice by dismissing the application by Zuma with costs.
Mr. Zuma has an established propensity of vexatious litigation. We have cited here at least 12 separate instances where he has litigated with a lot of enthusiasm, but with no results. Now, one can try and neutralize the submission and say the mere fact that you lose doesn't mean that the litigation should not have been instituted. But the frequency and the nature of the cases that are being brought clearly illustrate that this is a vexatious litigant.
Judgment is reserved. Makhala Masiteng, SABC News, Bloemfontein.